Hello friends, in this video we will see the structure and the array of structure. So as the atomic data represents a single and non-decomposable entity. So as you can say, the age it is an atomic data, we cannot decompose it. To store this atomic data, we use the built-in primitives. In computer languages, built-in primitives like integer, character and float, these are used to store a single value. But to model the real world entities, these built-in primitives are not sufficient. For example, if I want to store the grades of 1000 students, then in that case I need to create the 1000 single variables. And to maintain and to manage it, it is difficult. And therefore, we will see an array. So within an array, it is a finite and ordered collection of elements of a homogeneous data. So here you can see one array where we store the four elements of integer data type. So here if I consider that I want to store the roll numbers, so we can store only the roll numbers of the student. Whereas if I want to create the record of the student contains the name, roll number and the percentage, then in that case we have to create the three different arrays, and it is again difficult to manage. So instead of that, I will use the record of the student. So initially we will see a concept of a structure, and therefore we will create a record of a single student. So a record of a single student contains the name, roll number, percentage, the mobile number, email ID and the number of things for the student. So if I want to create such a record, then in that case I will use structure, where structure it is a collection of elements of different data type, that is heterogeneous data. For example, for customer for banking customer, I want to create if I want to store the details, then in that case I will use the account number, the name of the account holder, the account type, the balance, the address, the pin code, where all these data contains the different data type, and therefore we can store it with the help of structure. Similarly, if I want to store the details of book, within this book it contains the details of book title of the book, the author details, the publisher name and the price of the book. So we can use the structure to store the record of a book. Similarly, if I want to store the record of an employee, where it contains the name of the employee, the name of the department to which he is associated, the salary of the employee ID. These are the few data which we store with the help of the structure. So how to create a structure? How to declare a structure? And to declare a structure, I will use the struct keyword. Student is the name for this structure. So for this student, I will store the role, name and the percentage, and this is declared with its corresponding data type. The structure it is terminated here with the help of semicolon. So structure is created. Now the structure variable is created by using this struct keyword. Student is the name of the structure and the S1 is the structure variable which we create. Now when we create the S1 as a structure variable, then this S1 will be will occupy the space in this way in the memory, where the first 4 bytes are used by the integer, whereas the next it is used for the name, and the last 4 bytes it is used for the percentage. So first, how I will access this? So this complete memory space represents the S1. Now if I want to access the name of the student, then in that case I will write that s1 dot name. So here to access each structure member, I will use the dot operator. So I will use the structure variable, dot operator and the structure member. Similarly, if I want to access the roll number, Then in that case, I will write that S1, this is a structure variable, dot operator, and the structure member role. If I want to access the percentage, I will write the S1 dot percentage. So in this way, I will access the each structure member of a structure. Now after this, we will see a simple program where I declared a structure, and I will keep the record of a one student, and for that purpose here I declare a structure as it is mentioned. Here I create a structure variable, that is S1 is a structure variable. And how to access the structure members? So S1, that is structure variable dot operator and structure member. So in this way we can access each structure member. I run this program. So here I will insert the roll number, the name, and the percentage. So here you can see I can access the details of the record of one student. But one more thing, that either here in the main function you can declare a structure member, a structure variable. Similarly, you can access the you can declare a structure member here before the termination of the structure. So both ways are possible. So similarly, if I want to create a record for 5 students, so I want to create these 5 variables. If I want to store the record of 100 students, then in that case I have to create the 100 structure variables. But it is not easy to handle, and therefore we will see the concepts of array of structures. So within the array of structures we create the array of structure, and for that purpose when we declare a structure member when we declare a structure variable, I will write here the struct student s, and I will mention the size. So here if I write 100, so I can store the 100 records. So here when I declare the 100, where here I can store the 100 records. So where my first record will be stored at s of 0 and my last record will be stored at s of 99. So in this way we can access each element. Now similarly, as you can see over here, we can store the details of roll number, we can store the name, and we can store the percentage. Now if I want to access the if we want to access the roll number of a specific student, then in that case I will use that s with its index variable, with its index, then dot operator, and if I want to access the roll number I will write the roll. If I want to access the name, then I will write s of I dot name. So in this way I can access these variables. So we will see one program to the store the record of the student. So for understanding, here I store the record of 2 students. So you can see again the same structure is defined over here. Now here I declared the array of structure. So either you can declare it here or you can declare it in the main function. So same. So here we use the array of structures, and therefore within the for loop I have taken the record of 2 students from the user, and same I am printing with the help of this for loop. Now if I run this program, so I can insert the detail of first student. Now the insert the details of second student. Now here you can see the record of 2 students. Now in this way you can take the details of 5 student and more. So here we have seen that when we use a single variable, we can use the atomic data, so where we can store only a single element, and for that purpose we just use a variable as a. For that we use the variable name. So as we stored an age to store a single value. Second, we have seen an array. So array, it is used to store the homogeneous type of data. A number of elements are there and we can access it with the help of this index I. So it is a static. For example, we can store a list of daily temperatures, or we can store a list of a roll numbers. Then in that case we use the array. If I want to use the structure, then in that case we can store the mixed type of a data, that is called as a heterogeneous. And how to access the members? So by using the dot operator, I can use the structure members. So as we use the structure member as s1 dot roll, so it is a fixed fields. And here in our examples we store an example of a student record. So similarly, we can store the employee's profile, the employee's record also. And when we use the array of structures, then in that case, it is a collection of a mixed types. And for that purpose, we use the index. We use the index and the dot operator. So we use the s of I dot roll. So in this way, we access the variables. So this is a fixed length, and in this way we can store the 100 employees or the 100 students or more than 100 students. So such records we can store with the help of this array of structures. When we use the structure, then it contains a different type of data types together. And when I have to access any elements, when I have to retrieve any data, then in that case it requires a constant time. In the disadvantages, that the size must be declared at compile time, otherwise there is the wastage of a space. And when we have to insert a new record, then in that case there is a need of a shifting of the elements, and it is very expensive. So here we have seen the structure and the array of structure. Thank you.